Morning, ass. Holes.
Rick and Morty is without a doubt one of the most popular TV shows in recent years. Whether it's insane sci-fi concepts, wacky sense of humor, or frequent pop culture references, people seem to love the adventures of horny teenager and his alcoholic grandpa who either farts all the time,
Excuse me,
aggressively burps, mistreats people around him,
what are you looking at, mother?
or does the last two at the same time.
You're so stupid, Morty. You're an idiot.
In this video, I'm gonna go over all episodes of season 1 through 5 and rank them from my least favorite to most. Now, when I'm saying least favorite, I don't mean blatantly terrible or even bad. All Rick and Morty episodes are good in their own way, but some are definitely better than others. Remember, this is all based on my opinion, which means it's probably wrong, so don't take it too seriously. Just relax, grab some snacks, and let's do this.
Here we go!
Definitely my least favorite, which is not to say that I necessarily hate it, it's just anime characters, giant robots, and Rick and Morty don't really go along very well in my opinion. Probably the most forgettable episode. I find the whole interdimensional cable a bit too weird and unfunny, but while Rick's 10 Minutes compensates it with an amazing B plot, here it just feels forced.
We get a 1, personal space, 2, personal space, 3, stay out of my personal space, 4, keep away from my personal space, 5, get out of that personal space.
I know a lot of people hate this episode, and rightfully so, but it still has its moments.
Power of 12 feet!
This one is widely known to be the worst episode. The sperm monsters concept is pretty edgy, even for Rick and Morty, but it could have worked better if the jokes landed more often and the final payoff wasn't a giant incest baby. The president's love-hate relationship with Rick is pretty entertaining, but I think they've gone too far with the whole turkey stuff. Rick fucks a planet and fights a god. Compared to that, the rest of the episode is just average.
Is that what you do when I'm in school? I'm a scientist, Morty. I try things. Sex with a living planet? Big step for mankind.
Introducing hell in Rick and Morty universe is a nice move, but it gets a bit weak at the end.
Nerds.
Morty and Summer using Rick's car to impress a new kid was pretty fun though. Let's just say Beth is not my favorite side character. I'm not saying always, but sometimes she acts like a self-absorbed narcissist, kinda like her old man, and while Rick makes it up with his intelligence and charisma, Beth just comes up a little bitchy. Morty sucks at being a father, Rick and Summer go into a feminist wet dream.
You guys kidding me?
This one is actually pretty great for a pilot. Unfortunately, it gets so busy with introducing the world and the main characters that there's not much time left for it to be a Rick and Morty episode. It gets really over the top with its heist plot, but I guess being over the top is something you would expect from the show.
You believe what I programmed you to believe.
Yes, because I programmed you to believe that.
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 What's really amusing is that while trying to mock similar movies, the story becomes a total clusterfuck, and yet in the end it somehow still manages to make sense.
You know, this is great source material for this heist movie that I'm writing.
Don't get drawn into the culture, Morty. Stealing stuff is about the stuff, not the stealing.
The concept is cool and it was well executed, however seeing decoys of Rick and his family dying over and over again can get pretty tedious.
When squids started killing decoys, decoys started checking their decoys and learning that they're making decoys. That's making them seek out and run into other decoys, making them realize they're decoys, making them start to kill other decoys.
Say decoy again.
Fuck you.
Let's be honest, if the smartest being in the galaxy lived on Earth, eventually he was gonna have a beef with the White House.
You're a terrorist, you're an enemy of the state, and you kicked me in the balls 10 minutes ago! The office of the president can't coexist with a living god that won't submit to it. I mean, besides Poseidon. But he's locked up in Area 51 already, so that doesn't really count.
This one is a little bit too grounded considering that it follows one of the most badass episodes. But the whole post-apocalyptic Mad Max world and Morty with his sentient hand, it's not as bad as you would think.
My body is chrome! My blood is gasoline!
Nope, regular blood.
Nothing new or groundbreaking, just Rick and his grandson messing with the civilization of facehuggers. Morty's relationship with Rick has always been complicated, so seeing the two pretending that they'll be fine without each other is actually quite compelling. They both try to deal with the breakup in their own way, but I personally prefer Morty's solo adventure over Rick's obsession with crows. Having Morty explore his embarrassing or traumatic memories that have been conveniently vanished is actually a pretty cool idea. I say if you're gonna have an anthology episode, let it be about the characters we all know and care about. It's always refreshing to see Rick in difficult and challenging situations. Kinda proves that it's not just his tech that makes him the coolest motherfucker in the galaxy.
Your vehicle, is it from the gods?
Yes!
Rick turning himself into a teenager is so random and unexpected that I almost didn't notice how clever the marriage therapy plot actually was. This one is considered to be among the worst episodes, even by its creators, but I kinda like it. I love how the show takes a crap on incredibly popular superhero genre, and unlike with the Heist episode, at least here it punches up.
Ooh, real scared. Real fucking on alert. High alert over here.
This is actually a pretty solid episode with decent story and clever concept, but whoever was behind this one seems to be really into snakes, and I'm just not.
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
Giant talking heads forcing planets to sink for their survival is an idea so absurd that the only thing holding this episode back is its completely grounded and relatable B-plot about Beth and Jerry finally getting respect from their daughter. This one is a very confusing episode, but it will make more sense after you rewatch it for a couple of times. Now the show has made a tradition to have one anthology episode for each season, be that Morty's Mindblowers or Interdimensional Cable, but I gotta admit, this one is probably the most creative.
Hey, get back in your egg! Don't worry, Morty. Nothing out there is canon.
Paul, stay with me, Private. Smith, listen to me. You were exposed to a chemical that is altering your mind. To beat it, you have to hold on.
We're losing him.
Aliens! Sarge! Morty, never forget the highest truth of all. You're getting your ass kicked on a train.
The episode focuses on Rick's weird obsession over his toilet, which can't possibly be something exciting or fun for us, but it somehow ends up on a surprisingly serious and emotional note. I've learned more about human anatomy watching this episode than from the entire biology course in high school.
Morty, can you get to the left nipple?
Are you kidding? I'm hoping I can get to both of them, Rick.
Imagine being so awesome that you throw a badass party with your grandchildren while your daughter and son-in-law go on a stupid Titanic trip. I wish I could be this cool when I'm old, but this is probably what I will be like when I'm 50. Rick humiliating the devil himself just to fuck with Summer is entirely in his character. But Jerry maturing so much that he admits his own ignorance was quite surprising to say the least. Speaking of Jerry, out of all the side characters in this show, I think he's the most interesting one. Sure, very often Jerry, as the least intelligent person in the room, becomes the butt of the joke, but being surrounded with wacky heroes and having to encounter crazy events, he sometimes happens to be the most normal person out there. Since the start of the show, his character has grown from an annoying douchebag to a simple-minded guy with a kind heart. And what episode explores that better than the Rick and Jerry episode? These two have a unique chemistry together, and I think, even with all the shit Rick gives to Jerry, he still has a sort of respect for him, in his own way. Now, from here on, we're going into the territory of the really good stuff. Having Rick, this nihilistic asshole who doesn't care about anything, risk his life to save a friend is a breath of fresh air. The creative concept is executed with the perfect amount of humor and emotions, and the Battle of Blood Ridge is just absolute epic.
Guess the galaxy's most wanted mammal needs her daddy to come change her diaper. Come on, kids, we have to go do a fucking piece of shit Star Wars.
I'll just say one thing. This episode gives us more Star Wars in 20 minutes than Disney's sequel trilogy gave us in 3 movies. Mr. Mystics absolutely steals the show. The rest is cool too.
I take it anymore! I just want to die! We all want to die! We're Meeseeks!
I seem to enjoy Morty-centric episodes in a different way. This one shows a lot of character growth on his part. He's already more competent and clever than ever, but in the end he learns a harsh and bitter lesson, becoming a bit more mature. Thankfully all the drama is balanced with Rick and Summer having fun on an alien orgy.
Excuse me, miss. It appears that you have an uneaten Allow me.
Absolutely epic starter for the 4th season, and I think this is the first time we see Rick actually die. Yeah, things go tits up right from the beginning here, but it gets even messier when Morty kills a lot of people and Rick gets transferred into alternate universes where everyone is a Nazi. Definitely best episode beginning in the whole show.
Let's go. In and out. 20 minutes adventure.
Also very clever idea to have Rick and Morty go against their toxic counterparts in real life. These two definitely need some psychological evaluation.
What the hell, Grandpa Rick?
Fuck you, Summer.
The weird, horny Aquaman, also known as Mr. Nimbus, is a decent addition to the list of wacky characters in this show, but what makes this episode even better is Morty and his wine portal leading to the rise and collapse to an entire civilization of dog people. I previously mentioned that I'm not a big fan of interdimensional cable with its unnecessary long and absurd bits about a guy with ants in his eyes or a commercial about fake doors. But this one manages to work thanks to the B-plot about Beth and Jerry redefining their marriage and Morty teaching Summer a valuable lesson he learned from Rick.
Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's gonna die.
Absolutely mind-bending episode that shows you Rick being dick to his grandchildren.
But as far as Grandpa's concerned, you're both pieces of shit. Yeah, I can prove it mathematically.
And then leaves you completely speechless.
I'm okay with this. Be good, Morty. Be better than me.
Also, it's cautionary tale about why you shouldn't mess with time.
Don't someone mess with time! You don't with time, mother.
The fact that Rick is a galactic playboy isn't something new, so him having fun with a hive mind that enslaved an entire civilization is pretty awesome yet predictable. But this is the first time where Rick has genuine feelings for someone else besides his family. And that ending, wow, that's probably the second saddest ending in the whole show. The episode starts very casual, but as it progresses we end up with an incredibly satisfying season finale. First it punches you with evil Morty's storyline, giving his character more depth and motivation while unraveling a serious conspiracy behind Rick's superior intelligence. And then it completely knocks you off by finally revealing Rick's tragic backstory. I know that the creators of the show try to stay away from serialized episodes as far as possible, but when they do it, they pretty much nail it every time. This is just classic Rick and Morty episode. Incredible story where every scene is awesome and every joke lands on spot. Apart from few exceptions, no matter how tough is the situation, Rick always seems to come on top. But this is one of those rare times when he really goes into John Wick mode. I mean seriously, the guy neutralizes all his enemies in a matter of minutes, and all that with little to no effort.
Duh!
By the way, the scene where Morty shoots Rick with the fake gun and then pretends that he knew all along is actually pretty hilarious.
Who's stupid now, bitch?
I mean, the kid was so sick with all the crap that he literally did the unthinkable. This is why you probably shouldn't put people under pressure when they're holding a gun to your head.
You're a fucking moron, Morty!
Morty, you fucking idiot!
You're a serious fucking idiot, Morty! You basically killed us all! You're as dumb as a bag of sand! Idiot, Morty! You're a Rickhead! The dumbest thing I've ever laid eyes on! You're an idiot, dumb Morty! What an idiot!
Rick being stuck in a poorly manufactured artificial reality is already a hilarious premise, but things get even more absurd when the episode starts throwing at you quote-unquote unexpected final twists. Honestly, I don't even know why I like this one so much. Maybe it's Scary Terry saying bitch all the time.
Buckle up, bitch, 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 bitch. Oh, bitch.
Man, he sure says bitch a lot.
Get off my back, bitch.
Or Jerry's face being squished in his own urine.
Bad person. Bad.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Very often Morty takes the back seat in this show, but not today. In this episode, he goes through a lot of joy and suffering, ultimately learning 3 important lessons. Be careful what you wish for, there are always consequences, and never make fun of Rick's vat with fake acid.
Fuck you, Morty! Fuck you!
Welcome to the darkest and most nihilistic episode of the show. Things go nuts on a planetary level, and unlike any other time, nothing works out here. Rick's carelessness and Morty's boner turn everyone on Earth into monsters, so they just run to another universe, abandoning the family and leaving everything behind. It's just really messed up. And having this in the first season, where we barely got to know all the characters, really set the tone for the rest of the series. Create an entire universe and populate it with sentient beings that will provide electricity for your car battery.
Wow.
Rick's god complex can sometimes go too far, but one thing he got in common with the creator besides the weird haircut is that they're both huge assholes.
You have a whole planet sitting around making your power for you? That's slavery!
It's society. They work for each other, Morty. They pay each other. They buy houses. They get married and make children that replace them when they get too old to make power.
That just sounds like slavery with extra steps.
Ooh la la. Someone's gonna get laid in college.
It's a hilarious premise for a man with Rick's worldview to be forced to attend a wedding.
Weddings are basically funerals with cake.
Especially one where his best friend is getting married.
Bird person.
Rick, I am pleased you and your family could witness my melding with Tammy.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, I just hope you got a pre-meld.
Rick!
What? It's just a practical way of making sure that when she's done with you, you can get one of your balls back.
And what's worse is that he actually ends up being correct in this case. And as a result, he loses everything. His friends, his family, and his freedom. I present to you the saddest ending in the show. Rick really hates having a family therapy, which is too bad cause he definitely needs one, considering that he turns himself into a pickle just to avoid it, which is the scientific equivalent of scratching your left ear with your right foot. But besides being a badass and fun adventure with silly premise, this episode actually manages to tackle a serious issue in Rick's character. Him going all these lengths to avoid a family therapy kinda hints on serious psychological issues that he has, and that deep down he's a very flawed, lonely, and sad individual. Pretty deep for an episode about a pickle killing rats.
Oh yeah!
I think this is probably the most solid episode in a sense that with enough budget you could turn it into a full-length movie. Seriously, I mean, you got a conflict with stakes, compelling plot, interesting villain, promising perspective for a sequel, the whole 9 yards. And of course the final twist, hands down my favorite scene from the entire show. It's just such a well-made moment. The build-up, the music, the shock factor, every little detail makes it absolutely legendary. It doesn't matter how many times I watch it, every time it gives me goosebumps. Another classic Rick and Morty episode. It captures everything that makes this show great. A clever premise, hilarious jokes, incredibly satisfying finale, and of course a bunch of goofy characters to kill. And for the best episode, a choice that you may or may not like, Rick Lantis Mix-Up. It's surprising how the show manages to be at its best without even featuring its main heroes. It's like the people behind it are actually pretty talented. Everything is perfect about this episode. All the little stories connected to each other, the humor that doesn't get in the way of the sad and even scary. It always surprises me how a show known for its wacky jokes and ridiculousness can sometimes be this serious and thought-provoking. And that was my ranking of all Rick and Morty episodes. Make sure to let me know what do you think and which one is your favorite. Thanks for watching this video.
See you later, masturbators.